Hello there, and you are now listening to a quick news summary of important news events from the day of April the 13th of 2023, as part of daily uploads from the show Too Long Didn't Scroll, or tlds. Make sure to continue checking back on the show every day for a quick and listenable way to get your daily news fix, without the hassle of endlessly scrolling through your newsfeed and clicking on every individual news story. Make sure to drop a like and subscription if you like this style of news. We start the events of the day of recording in the country of Myanmar, which has found itself firmly split apart. Back in November of 2021, a coup led by the country's military, the Tatmadaw, forced then-leader Aung San Suu Kyi and her party out of power and arrested the lot of them, installing a military junta to be in charge of the country going forward. The junta has promised then that a return to democracy will be happening soon with the forthcoming round of elections, though such elections have been delayed time and time again, leading to nationwide disgruntlement and dissent. Protests have erupted across the country, and insurgent forces in the country have initiated a full-on civil war, pitting the Tatmadaw junta government against the insurgent banner of the National Unity Government and People's Defense Force. Severe acts of violence have been committed by both sides, like with an airstrike on a civilian village by junta forces mere days earlier, and, as of the day of recording, bombings on a civilian festival in the town of Lashio in the Shan State. Locals are celebrating the coming of the Buddhist New Year at a local pagoda when a series of car bombs exploded, killing around 4 people and injuring 12 others in what was reported by the junta government to be an attack initiated by insurgent rebels. In response to this attack, junta leader Min Aung Hlaing has continued reiterating his government's crackdowns on dissent and that the People's Defense Forces, quote-unquote, need to be tackled for good. Concerning the ongoing war between Ukraine and Russia, Ukraine now appears to have definitively lost the city of Bakhmut to Russian-allied forces, or at least mostly. The Battle of Bakhmut trudged on for over 8 months, as Russian-aligned forces like the Wagner Group attempted to break their way through a fierce Ukrainian defense. Fighting raged on ferociously thanks to Bakhmut's value as a critical strategic locale and potential for massive morale boosts for either side, depending on the outcome of the battle. Russian forces gradually broke their way through Ukrainian lines, initiating clashes with the city's center, devastating most of the city completely before claiming Bakhmut as their own, a sentiment disputed by Ukrainian forces still hiding out in western parts of the city. However, as of the day of recording, it was reported that the vast majority of the city center has fallen into Russian hands, and that Ukrainian forces have had all routes of supply and escape largely cut off, potentially sealing Bakhmut as Russian for good, though Ukrainian forces continue to persist and continue on trying to hold onto the city. Such comes along with news this day that the European Union has signed off on a deal to deliver copious amounts of ammunition to Ukraine, a deal worth €1 billion, bringing the total such support by Ukraine for the EU up to €4.6 billion. We now concern ourselves with the relations between the nations of North Korea and Japan. Such relations have been particularly contentious, largely in part due to aggressive military tests and diplomatic aggression against Japan from North Korea across the sea. Missile tests are a particular point of contention, especially since Japan's mainland would be in close range for their ballistic and possibly nuclear missiles. As of the day of recording, DPRK forces have initiated a new type of test for what was reported to be a distinct type of ballistic missile in the general direction of Japan's Hokkaido island, triggering numerous evacuation orders across the region. The suspected intermediate-range missile, however, splashed down into the sea before reaching Japanese soil. Japanese military officials have described this recent test as a quote-unquote grave provocative act. In other news, the country of Australia is about to make contact with the current cyclone season as Cyclone Ilsa makes landfall in its western regions, and a 21-year-old Massachusetts Air National Guardsman has been arrested by FBI agents over suspected involvement of leaking classified Pentagon documents to a Minecraft Discord server.